Hey everyone, welcome back to channel Tech and Art. Hope you guys doing safe and sound. So today we are going to discuss about SQL Server always on monitoring. Okay, so let me start the session. So before starting the session, I would request to each and everyone who are newly joined channel, please like to subscribe and don't forget to share with others. Okay, so I have created one document. Okay, so let me show you guys. So SQL Server always on health checks and lease timeout. So today's session is all about the health check monitoring and the lease timeout for SQL Server always on. Okay, so as we know, the SQL Server always on is a HADR concept for SQL Server. So high availability and disaster recovery. So the setting always on is fine, but our task is not done for the configuring and set up the AG. So post that we need to understand the proper monitoring health checkup and which is required. So today's session I am going to discuss couple of points to understand the which area we need to focus for the monitoring in terms of monitoring for the SQL Server always on. So in terms of database health checkup, you can see here I have mentioned highlighted the points. Understand the health check for always on availability group. So database health checkup synchronization states. So confirm the the secondary replica are kept in a sync with the primary. In terms of database data loss, so evaluate the whether any transaction loss might be during the failover. Database status, verify the database are online or accessible. Okay. In terms of replica health checks, what are the things we need to monitor? So operational status, ensure the replica are assigned to the correct roles, whatever. Also which replica is act like a primary and which is act like a secondary. So you have to figure out whether it is done or not. The connection state, so monitor the network connectivity between replicas, the synchronization health as well, the access to the overall health for the database synchronization. In the same goes for the cluster health checkup also. So node status, so all nodes should be running fine. The quorum configuration, ensure that the cluster can still make the decision to some node if fail. So quorum should be online. And the resource status, so monitor the availability of the cluster resource. Now it comes for one of the another component called lease timeout. So we have to understand this parameter in terms of monitoring for AG. Okay. So what basically lease timeout? So lease mechanism. So lease mechanism basically a heartbeat signal between the SQL Server and Windows failover cluster. So if you ask by when you set up the SQL Server AG, so by default it is 20 milliseconds. So every 20 milliseconds it is going to check the heartbeat of the Windows Server failover cluster and the SQL Server AG. So anything is mismatched, it will start to the failover. Okay. So it's continuous process to check the heartbeat. Okay. The importance, the proper lease management prevent the split bench scenarios. So wherever multiple nodes simultaneously believe they are on the primary, which can lead to the data corruption. So lease timeout, we have to default setting is 20, but you have to be proper setup for those based on your environment and your node of cluster. Monitoring health checks and lease timeout. So now the question is how we can monitor. So these are the things which we need to monitor. Okay. So from here database health checks, replica health checks, cluster health checks, lease timeout. But now question is how we can monitor. What are the approach to monitor these components? So through the SQL Server Management Studio, you can go to the availability and check the dashboard. Through the dashboard, you can get the complete information. We have the features extended event. So extended event system event health session, it is captured. So you can filter the system extended event from the extended event system health checks. So for the lease timeout, default extended event is 19407. Okay. So you can use this query to get the particular filtered system health session event for the lease timeout. Okay. So it will give you the filtered record. Okay. SQL Server agent also you can figure out and put their with this error code 19470. This is basically for the lease timeout error. Okay. Performance also you can use to monitor the synchronization, the health and flow. Failover cluster manager, what are the things you can do? So open failover cluster manager, and on the cluster node validate the status of the cluster resource and nodes. Review the recent cluster event, identify the issues or warning. PowerShell command for the cluster log, you can type the get cluster logs that give the destination. So it will give you the cluster logs. Go with the cluster logs with the lease timeout and any cluster resource failure error or any other error to do the analysis. Okay. So these are the approach which you can follow for the monitoring. Okay. What are the options we have? I have mentioned here. Okay. So best practice to monitor what are the things we can do for the best practice to avoid any outage. So regular health checks, automate your frequent checks to detect the issue earlier. Alert configuration, set up your monitoring like that so any issue occurs before that you can identify it. You will notify the alert. Documentation, maintain the detailed records of the monitoring configuration and any incidents. Okay, so basically it's saying you have to maintain a documents if any issue occurring again and again, so it will help you to fix the problems and you will have the back history data. Testing periodically, so do the test for your AG setup, do the failover manual failover for testing whether your alert mechanism is correct or not, you are getting the alert or not. So do sometimes testing also, and updates the key for Windows updates so that latest fix and it will improve the performance. Troubleshooting of the lease times, if lease time is occurring, what are the troubleshooting steps for this? And before that I have to discuss couple of things, the common scenario for this lease time issues, right? So these are the four five components which is the very common to create this lease time issues. So network latency, one of the major area. So delayed connectivity can prevent timely lease renewals. The resource connection, so high CPU or memory utilization also can cause this issue. The disk IO bottleneck, slow disk response also can cause the issue. Cluster service issues, if a failover cluster having some issues, it will create a lease timeout error. So steps to resolve is review the error logs, check the both SQL Server error logs and cluster log to improve the pinpoint to the issues. Analyze the performance metrics with the DMB and using the performance. Check the network stability and disk also, right? So how the disk behavior and network connectivity. So these are the common steps which is causing the issue and from where we have to look the issues. So hope you guys enjoyed. Actually I have kept couple of things for AG monitoring setup. So once you set up the AG, not only set up the AG is enough, you have to focus in terms of monitoring and troubleshoot. So these are the common factors which you have to keep in mind to set up a monitoring, and as well as the whenever it's need to get this process to identify the issue and get the resolution. So well, that's it for today. We'll meet in next video with another topic. We are closing the session today now. Thank you. Keep watching.